When in doubt, frag out! Hey, it's Deltia from DeltiasGaming.com here to provide you another PvP build, this time with the Sorc. If you're into range DPS, nuking people from afar, and then streaking through to laugh at them only to fire off a big old crystal frags, this is the build for you. Stay tuned as we show you how to go through gear, skills, and everything you need to kill every class in the game. I'm free! Okay, I'm not going to jump, don't worry. It's Deltia, and we're going to go over skills on this Sorc PvP build, Frag Out. As you guessed, we're going to be using crystal frags. Why? It sounds cool. No, it's really good. First off, the main ability here to streak in and out is Streak. I ranked it up to 4. I like this more because it also builds ultimate when you streak through enemies. So it does a little bit of damage. It can do a lot of damage if it crits. It's a great movement tool, whether you're going in and out. You can use it offensively and defensively. Don't just streak away from combat, streak into it, and disorient the enemies before you nuke them. Most times in PvP, it's about timing your burst, waiting for that opportunity to strike. When they're CC'd, out of stamina to break it, that's when you go in hardcore. That's what you use Streak for. There's a group chasing you, run away. There's a group you need to nuke, go in there and nuke them. Next ability up, Malicious Curse. This is the one ability that can go through the annoying Dragon Knight's reflective scales. So really, this is what we like to use and keep on that Dragon Knight over and over. It has 3.5 seconds before it pops and blows up. So don't reapply it before that 3.5 seconds gets up. Otherwise, you'll just waste damage. So put it on the Dragon Knight or whatever class you're going to target first, and then wait for it to pop. Now the Frag Out combo I'm going to get to in a minute is you put the Malicious Curse on him first. You put Mage's Wrath second. Mage's Wrath is the finisher. Now, it applies and it has 4 seconds to pop if the enemy goes below 20%. The whole plan here is that you put all these debuffs on the enemy, and if they all pop at the same time and they dip below 20%, boom, frag out, they will die. So that's what Mage's Wrath is. First apply the Malicious Curse, that's 3.5 seconds. This is 4 seconds, so you could either go either way first, but that's going to give you about a 30 or 60%, 66% chance to proc C-frags, hence the word frag out. Also, you can streak in, make sure you get a proc before you do this combo because you want it to be an instant cast. So, you got Curse on him, you got the Fury on him, and then boom, hit him with frags here. Now this thing can hit for 1,000, and then Mage's Wrath, if it procs under 20%, boom, that's another 1,000, and then here that's about 800. You can instantly nuke someone. So that's the whole point, is that you're kind of playing catch up, waiting for the enemy to be vulnerable, timing your procs and your burst. Don't just always just do frags over and over and over. Time it. Because the whole point of this is to kill people. It's not to just do a lot of damage. It's to single-handedly do killing blows over and over and over. So that's what you're doing. You're scouting the enemies to see who's low. Nuke them. You're scouting enemies to see who's vulnerable. CC them. Boom. Frag out. Curse. Fury. Boom. Frag. Third ability here, or fifth, whatever you want to call it, is our Hardened Ward. It basically creates almost a 1,000-point bubble on ourselves. Now I need to eat food to get this up harder, but this is too invulnerable not to use on every single bar because it shields against everything. So I'll always have this up. With the 20-second duration, you don't have to cast it all the time unless it pops. So you can keep on casting the sucker over and over and over and over. And if you're taking a lot of damage and a lot of pressure, that's exactly what I do. Last ability. Energy Overload. Deltia, why in the heck would you use this? Well, I don't know if this is an exploit or not. I've contacted ZOS. If it is, I will remove it and update this guide immediately. But, since I don't know, look at that. It gives us access to a third bar. Yes, that's right, a third bar. This is our AoE bar, which I'm going to cover now since we're on it. Number one, you have to set this up. This is my going against the Zerg, going against 20 people where the odds are stacked against me. I need a lot of AoE damage, and luckily for us, the Sorc has some good AoE damage without using a staff because I'm on an ultimate. So notice how my hands change. It takes a minute to activate, but it's really fast to deactivate. First ability is up is Lightning Flood. That's a huge radius area damage that casts 3 seconds. Next up is our Volcanic Ruin. This is essentially a ranged area stun. Then I have 2 bubbles and crystal frags. So we already talked about Hardened Ward. but Absorb Magicka is the other one. I like 2 bubbles on this bar, because number 1, they don't need stabs, and number 2, if I'm facing a Zerg, eventually someone is going to try to test me and try to come after me. If I keep popping my bubbles over and over, they're going to get tired of not being able to kill me, they're going to switch targets, thus allowing me to do more and more damage. So this bar is really for when you're taking on a Zerg. The trick to using this effectively is not light attacking. If you light attack, you see the ultimate goes down. So don't light attack. It's hard for me to turn my brain on and off for doing that, but this is really just meant for skills alone until you whittle the Zerg down, switch back to your other bars. So this is the primary bar. This is our cheesy third bar. Let's go to the second, if you will. That's our defensive bar here. And that, you got Purge, Efficient Purge. This is really a must-have in PvP for Flaming Oil, the dot damage ballistas. It just removes 2 negative effects from you and nearby allies. 20-meter radius, huge in PvP. Healing Springs, you gotta have it if you're rocking a Resto Staff, in my opinion. It doesn't heal that much, but it's a heal over time for 3 seconds on the ground. It has massive ultimate generation. And I can single-handedly keep up a party just with a couple of abilities, and this being one of them. Dark Deal. The reason I like Dark Deal is it gives me Magicka. Because I generate a lot of stamina with my gear, I can easily transfer stamina into magic and or health. I'll show you about the gear later with the Adroitness set. I have another bubble on here. This bar is really meant to heal others, or it's an oh crap bar for myself. So if I am in trouble, I'll go back to this double bubble setup. And then Healing Ward. So 6 seconds, takes a while, but if it pops, it basically heals me to full. So what I like to do if I'm in trouble, switch to this bar, Hardened Ward first. 1,000 points damage up front, they have to get through that first. Then Healing Ward. So if they can't get through the Hardened Ward, this will pop and heal you to full. So I've came back from, being at 20% health all the time, just by, if I have enough magic, do the double pops, and I just keep Hardened Ward up. Once it's down, boom. Once it's down, boom. And then once this pops, back to full health. Now I go on the offensive. Lastly, Absorption Field. It's too powerful not to have. It's just your negate. It stun blocks them. It silences them. And then you get some health back if it dispels a spell in the Absorption Field. This is our massive kill ability here. You want to put it on an enclosed area or on a one-person target and lock them down. What I like to do is a negate bomb. I'll drop a negate, streak in to stun them all. My party will lob grenades in from afar. You'll wipe out 10 people with this combo. So that's really the skill setup. Let's move on to talk about gear. Alright, we're here to talk about gear now on the Sorky Porky, and this gear is going to take a little bit to get, but it's worthwhile if you get it. First off is the Adroitness set. You get the Adroitness set, let me switch to my staff here, by running Crypto Hearts Veteran mode, and it's a VR12 drop. It has a crappy trait on it, well fit, which is reducing sprinting cost, but look at the 5-piece bonus. Recovers 54 magic and stam when you deal damage to enemy. That's why Dark Deal is so powerful with this. Stamina is a must-have in PvP. You have to dodge roll, CC break, block, everything. You have to have stamina. You can't just be a melee or magic caster like you normally would in PvE. So this set is so powerful. Now, it's a 5-piece set. What does that include? You got the head here, the chest, the belt, and the necklace, and then finally, the staff. The staff is a problem. I don't know if there's a VR12 staff in the game yet, so you have to get this Lobby staff, which is 37, level 37. Now obviously, that's not ideal for doing damage. But with the 5-piece set bonus, you have to try it. It is so powerful that I believe it's worth it to go with the low staff until the game gets this in there, or someone finds one somewhere. So that's the Adroitness set. That's a 5-piece set we run. The next setup is a crafted arena set. That's a CC break set. So you notice that you don't get the 5-piece until we switch to our back bar, restoration staff. So that's our defensive bar anyway, so it really is a good thing to have, that it reduces the cost of break free by 40%. With that cost, it's roughly around 300 stamina. So you're always going to save 300 stamina to break CC. You can't break CC, then you're going to die. You have to be able to break CC and constantly keep up Hardened Ward or Healing Ward to survive. So keep that in mind. But with the stamina that we're generating via Adroitness, that shouldn't be a problem. The jewelry here, I did just buy the Band of Cyrodiil's Light. If I were to completely mid-max this, I need 2 of them because it gives you even more spell power. But for now, I'm just using these Dominion rings that I have until I get enough to buy the other one. So I would go with that, and you're trying to max out your spell power on this build. So if you look at my stats here, I go an even set, like kind of like through the attributes, just because I need stam to block, dodge, and that sort of thing. And just it works well because I do both PvE and PvP. So with food, I'm sitting at 2600 health, in Cyrodiil roughly about 3000, 2200 magic, that's good, maxed on spell damage. That's why it hits like a truck. I don't have very much spell crit, which is fine, because in Cyrodiil you're going to be using the Impenetrable. Impenetrable gives you resistance to criticals. So with 4-piece crafted set, that's almost 400 if you legendary all your gear out. That's a lot. So you really want a lot of resistance to crit in your gear too. That's really the gear setup. Make sure you have potions, food, all that sort of things to separate you from the noob to the Wonder Woman, or man if you will, when you're in Cyrodiil. So that's our gear setup. Now I'm going to talk about how to kill individual classes in this game, because each of them has their own approach. Or we're going to talk about how to kill each individual class here and show you how combat works. Now, I'm in the Rift. I tried narrating this in Cyrodiil, and it's just too uncontrollable. You guys don't want to hear me blabble on and go ooh ah every 5 seconds. So I'm here in the Rift, and I'm going to attack some giants that have 11k health and some good defensives, and I can show you how to kite them, get around them, and basically what each class is going to try to do overall. So first off, if you're just doing damage on this build and don't have any pressure, it's pretty simple. What you're going to do is Malicious Curse, and you're going to kind of proc frags and keep up your hardened ward until the enemy is in finishing range. So let's just do this real quick. For those that don't know what kiting is, it's just like flying a kite. You want to be at the center of something, and the kite is at a distance. So like let's say this little rabbit here that I just nuked is the obstacle. So you're just moving around in a big circle as the rabbit or whatever comes towards you. That's kiting, and so kiting is really very, very important for ranged DPS. I'll show you how to do it. I'm not exactly the master at it yet, because I do play usually melee DPS. So a combination of kiting. Most classes you need to create space. You want more space away from them. So that's where Streak comes in. So let's just get this guy's attention. Okay, so guy comes over here. What do? First things up, Malicious Curse. I hear that awesome sound. Boom, Frag Out. Next up is I just keep applying the curse, keep my hardened ward up. Curse is down, hardened ward, block when needed. Look at my stamina. I got enough to dodge roll constantly, keeping my hardened ward up. If enemies get close, streak through them. That's going to stun them for a little bit, give you that space you need. Block, hardened ward. Look at that stamina. It's so awesome for PvP. Streak through, get some space, block, hardened ward goes down, it's okay. Of course I aggroed another mob like a noob. Curse is up, now they're at 20%, that's when we frag out. Boom, see ya son. Alright, let's get this little guy here. Create space, boom. So the Frag Out combo really is for when the enemy is stunned and vulnerable. The NPC can't be stunned, this elite guy can't be stunned. But what you want to do is kite around, get their attention, and you're playing a waiting game. Usually I CC someone with the Crystal Frags, that's a knockdown, or else I'll streak through them. One of two things is going to happen. They're either going to sit there for a second, in that case, put the pressure on them. If they don't, they break, wait. Look for that little circle around their feet to be up. That's when you time your burst. So that's how the general combat works. Let's just look what happens if I get in trouble here. Let's take some damage. This is called face tanking. Red, bad. Get out of red. But for the sake of this video, I'm not going to do that. So I'm getting in trouble here. Come on, Mammoth, hit me. Oh, here we go. So for those who don't know the CC break, that's the animation. That's the circle at my feet. So I'm low on health here. What am I going to do? Block, bubble, healing ward bubble, then a hardened ward. Now, just keep that hardened ward up. They hit me, it's okay. Now look at that. Look at that healing ward came up again. So that's how you got to pressure with this build. You peel back, do a heavy resto to get that magic back, and then go on the offensive. Remember, the best defense is a good offense sometimes, so don't just play defensive. If you need to escape, streak out. Then I'm going to light attack in between here, keep up my hardened ward just like normal. A couple of frags go off, time in my burst, heavy attack in between just to get your magic up. Here we go, frag phase. Boom, frag. Got a Mage's Wrath, got another frag, streak through, see ya. Boom! Gosh, that's awesome. So that's general combat, both defense and offense. Now let's get to specific classes. I know this is a long video, guys, but stick with me. I really want to give you this information so you're successful on this. Now, obviously I can't tell a Dragon Knight to stand still and not do anything, but we're going to practice like we're doing a Dragon Knight. Their number one most deep ability, they want to close space. They can do reflective scale, so your projectiles are crap besides Felicious Curse. They're going to want to narrow your space. You're going to want to create space. They want to be close and CC you, lock you down. You want to be far away. Their number one ability is Talons. It's going to lock you down. You can't CC break out of it, but you can streak and dodge roll. So a dodge roll and a streak, watch how much space this gives me. Dodge roll, streak, boom. That gives me enough distance. Once that immobilize gets up, now I can go back on the offensive. So really what you're going to do is kind of like facing an NPC that's always going to want to stay on top of you. Create space. Most Dragon Knights use Lava Whip, Invasion, Talons, those sorts of things, and time your burst. This is the hardest opponent we have because reflective scales. Now, it's okay because we have Felicious Curse, we have Streak, so we can do a couple things. So let's pretend it's a Dragon Knight. We're just going to assume the Dragon Knight has reflective scales up. It's a 4-second cast, they spread their wings, like that. And there's going to be a huge orange bubble around them. That's when you know that they have reflective scales up. So what I do is time and wait. There's going to be a point where that Dragon Knight doesn't cast it right at the 4-second mark. That's when we stun and time our burst. So this is a Dragon Knight, allegedly. So it's going to come and it wants to get close to us. We want to dodge roll, use a combination of dodge roll and streak. I wouldn't suggest double streaking because that's going to slow your magic regen down. As they get close, you're just going to keep up your procs, dodge rolling, because remember, we got tons of stamina with that set bonus. Keep up curse. I didn't keep my hardened ward up. I'm sure someone's going to tell me, Delta, you're not listening to your own advice. Just keep streaking and creating space. Remember the kite on the string. You're not going to get to me. You're not going to get to me. You think you're going to get to me? Stun. Now it's getting vulnerable here. See, now it's getting vulnerable at the 20% mark. That's when we streak through, use a potion if we need to, and frag out. Boom. Time your burst. It's hard. Believe me. It's taken me a lot of practice, and I've had a lot of lava whips to the face, and I've lost a lot of battles. But with practice and timing, create space, and you will nuke these guys. So up next, we have Nightblades. Now, Nightblades are really burst-oriented, and I shouldn't say the classes in general. Most classes stick to an archetype of what they're going to try to do, so I'm just giving you some general advice. Most Nightblades are either going to be sniping using bows from a distance, or they're going to jump on you with ambush and try to nuke you down before you can react. Now, I've gotten punked out pretty bad by some Nightblades, but I kept going back in there and I learned from my mistakes. Here's what I've learned. Remember that 5p set bonus that can break CC? Hopefully you do. Anyways, we're going to keep that always while we're traveling. So we want to be on our resto bar while we're traveling. 1, reduces cost to CC break, and 2, if a Nightblade tries to gank us, we can double bubble right away. So what happens is you're just walking along on your horse and some little derpy Nightblade, boom, ambushes you in. Immediately CC break. I rebound my key to C. I don't know what you guys want to rebind it to, but I don't recommend the default double button thing. Rebind it. You want to get that in your brain. If I can't control my character, I'm just smashing the C button, just default. So you break, block, double, bubble. Now, once that's under control, drop a healing springs. They're still going to be on you. Your whole goal is to survive that initial onslaught. If you can survive the initial onslaught, then go on the offensive. So at some point, you're going to have to turn to this bar, streak through them, create space, and then keep your wards up, knock them down. That's how you beat a Nightblade. Alright, LTA, well, how do you beat a Sorc doing the same sorts of thing? This is a little more challenging. It's going to take a lot of skill. Because if someone is equally as geared and skilled as you, it's going to come down to a fraction of a second who makes a mistake. What I do when a Sorc is running nearly the same build that I am, I watch their bar. So I make sure I look at their staff. And when they bubble using Hardened Ward, I look at what staff they're on and try to memorize it. I know this is hard. But when they switch, if their staff literally changes and they're not using Hardened Ward, I know when they're on that staff they're vulnerable. So really it's a dance. You're just keep on bubbling, keep on swapping, just doing damage and playing defensive. Once they're on the bar that you want them to be on where they can't bubble, that's when you use frags or streak to go through them, stun them, and then get the momentum in your favor. Another thing about combat, whether it's real life or in video games, initiate the fight. Do not wait to get punched. It's just like if you've ever been in a fist fight, whoever punches first usually wins, no matter if they're more talented, big, or stronger. Get in there right away. Don't be afraid to change the momentum in your favor. And then sometimes in fights, I ask myself, is the momentum in my favor? If it's not, I gotta do something to get it there. Whether it's using a potion, using an ultimate, streaking through, get momentum, then finish it. So last but not least is Templar. This is probably the easiest of the 4 to go against. Reason being, they're going to have a bubble via Blazing Shields. It's not as powerful as the Dragon Knight's Reflective Scales, but they're going to want to do the exact same sort of thing. They're going to want to get close. They're going to want to pop their bubble in your face, which reflects the damage. You're going to do the same thing you're going to go do against the Dragon Knight, but this time you can use Crystal Frags and Mage's Fury and Malicious Curse all the time, because if you have space, just keep popping their bubbles. Really comes down to resource management and making sure they run out of resources first. That's when you square up with them, time your burst CC, streak, or C frags to stun them, then frag out. Well, I know we covered a lot, people, and I really appreciate you coming to my site, deltiusgaming.com, checking out the videos, and I do it for this community because you are the best community I've ever experienced in a game. So this build is really meant as a caster archetype in the back, nuking people. Don't play it as a melee tank, you're not. What you are is an extremely devastating ranged DPS target caller, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe, leave me a comment, visit my website, and always stay tuned for any more builds that I might be creating. Thanks.